My name's Justin Ellis. This is the Topwater Podcast. Welcome back. Well, it's kind of a interesting time for fishing right now because we're in sort of the pre-spawn mode and everything's starting to get rolling. And also at the same time, everybody's getting these stay-at-home orders. So what I have also interpreted by those orders is the fact that you can still do outdoor activities, you know. You just kind of have to keep it limited to like doing it by yourself and not being around other people. But, you know, that's kind of, if you want to get out there and go after it, you know, go for it. And I kind of feel like, you know, I'm going to get out there tomorrow morning and, you know, I kind of want to be out there like right at sunrise because I figure there's going to be fewer people actually that are going to be there at that time, and then just kind of cut it short, you know, not try to be there, you know, the whole entire day, you know, try to be back like before noon, which, you know, I mean, it kind of sucks, but, you know, you get it in where you can, you know. If you can only go fishing for an hour, and hey, you know, go fishing for an hour, you know, if you can, you know, if you know you're in a spot where, you know, you could stay there all day, then that's cool, man. That's a nice place to be. But, you know, you just kind of want to just stay busy with some stuff, and this is a cool way because you can actually stay active, still do this. At least I think so. I haven't been told otherwise, and I haven't seen anything otherwise. You know, it says that you can still go out and exercise, you know, hiking and biking. I figure kayaking's in, I mean, it should be. People go kayaking for exercise. But, you know, so I'm going to try to catch a couple bass. I think, I know there's a couple of spots that I do want to try on the James River to where it's kind of like up the river a little bit, and there's some like little shallow spots that are right next to the river that I think the bass might just push up and spawn in, and they're probably going to be staging up kind of around those areas. So I'm probably just going to just go directly there, which is, it's going to be kind of funny because, you know, I'm kind of like telling you something that's like, the thing is like I'll already have the results of it by the time this comes out. So, you know, because this is going to be out on Monday, you know, tomorrow's Sunday. Today is Saturday. I am not making deadlines today, but no, I'm going to make it. I'll make it. I mean, that's the nice thing about doing one by yourself, because it's just all one go, and you can just buzz right through it, you know, especially if you don't edit anything out, which I don't edit things out of my podcast, which there you go. So, you know, well, it is kind of a cool moment because I got a new reel in from a company called Kudu Fishing, and it's a spinning reel. And when I first opened it up, I was kind of expecting it to be more of like a plastic cover, but it's a composite body. Sorry. It's a composite body that I mean, it has a really good heft to it. And it just feels like a really solid reel, and it looks nice. And they did, I gotta say, when I pulled it out, I was actually pretty impressed with the package. You know, with the reel itself. But, you know, I really want to kind of compare it to, and it's this reel right here. It's the name of it, and it's called Toots Renolia. I think that's how you pronounce it. Don't just quote me on this one, but it's spelled TSLRINOYA. No, YLA. Let me look that up. Just to make sure that I'm correct on all of this, because I want to make sure I get all this right. But yeah, I got this one, and I also got the Shanghai Storm, which is still on its way. I haven't received that one yet, which that one is a bait casting reel, and I can't wait to get that one in because the length of the reel handle is a little bit longer, and I was going to put it onto my frog rod, so that way I have a little bit more leverage just to kind of crank them in when I'm topwater fishing across lily pads. But this reel here, when it came in, I mean, I'm really impressed with it. It has a good, like I said, it has a nice look to it. I like the chrome. I like the flat black onto that. The drag's pretty smooth. I was really happy with it. And I really like this oversized handle. Just a little bit bigger of a grip. I kind of like that. I'm digging it, but I haven't got to fish it yet. That's one of the reasons why I want to go out fishing tomorrow. Just because, I gotta say, I've been itching for it like all week, and I didn't go last weekend, and I probably should have, but I had to get some stuff done, so I ended up just kind of staying around the house. And so, yeah, I'm going to get out there this tomorrow morning and just kind of tear it up. It's going to be fun. I'm definitely going to try to catch bass on that one. And you know what? I'm probably going to go with the drop shot. But honestly, I think I'm going to start out with one of these Z3 swamp crawlers in the oxblood with the red line. I got to say, these things look like earthworms. Like, straight up. They just look like regular old earthworms. And if you have one just sitting there on a drop shot, I mean, I'll just have to let it sit and soak a lot. Not like really try to work it too hard. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the kind of the key on that. But, you never know. Maybe you'll give it some shakes and stuff. But I'll probably start off by searching with the jerkbait. I've actually been really getting a lot of success here lately on this right here. I went out and bought one of these Vision 110s. Whew, I gotta say, I was a bit nervous whenever I first threw that. I mean, I thought I was gonna lose that bad boy. I mean, I got hung up in a little bit of, like, something. I was doing a little bit of bank fishing. I was like, man, I really shouldn't be throwing this. But I bought it, and I really kind of want to. So I threw it for a little bit, and I stopped. It was like, I just can't lose this lure. It's just, when you spend like $25 on a lure, you can't lose it right off the bat. You got to catch a few fish. It has to be worth it when you buy something like that. You don't want to just, throw $25 right out the window. It's like, I'll catch a fish on this thing and I'll just retie. If I get it hung up or into anything, I'll just retie. Just cut it, retie. I'm not gonna play around with this. It's too expensive a lure to be doing that. Jerkbaits are already expensive enough. Some of them are like $8, $10, $15. And when you start getting over like $20 for a lure, it really starts being like, I better be able to catch fish and I better be able to not lose it. I got to do everything I can to just not lose this lure. But what I'm going to do is just kind of use that, and I'm going to find these points. So there's going to be points that are going to be like these little entrances into these flats, these like little shallow areas. They're almost kind of like washed out places whenever the water gets high, and it kind of washes them out a little bit. But during the spring, their water will move back in there, but it's a lot more stable water, and it warms up a lot faster. It's a lot more shallow. And some of the places I've noticed are like gravel bottom. And, they'll be, some of those places I was getting back into, you could see a bass getting in there if it was a little bit higher of, water kind of rises up. They'd probably go back into some of those pools and spawn back in there. So what I'm thinking is they're probably not going to be up into the shallow areas just yet. I don't think they're going to be spawning just yet. I think it's still a little bit too cold, but I think they're staging off of those points. I think they're moving up to those points. And so I'm just not even going to mess around with like trying to junk fish. I'm just going to specifically fish certain places. I'm just going to like go to my high percentage spots that I think that I'm going to be able to catch fish off of. And I think it's going to be the places that are just leading into these shallow spots. And I think they're going to be hunkered up off of there. And hopefully there'll be a big female, in there too. Because you never know. I've caught some pretty decent sized fish out of there, some 4 or 5 pounders out of there. So, and I've seen some guys pull some pretty big fish out of there too. So I'm going to say, you never know. But, it's like, one of the things is like, I am also like willing to kind of switch a little bit of an audible when it comes down to the drop shot rig. If it seems like I'm not catching them off the drop shot, what I might just do is like tie this guy on right here. This is one of those Z-Man like hula grubs sort of things. But I have it on a swing head. And since I'm fishing something that has fairly bit of, it has a little bit of current, it's a river. That swing head is just going to be down there on that rock, and this is just going to be floating up like this. So the tail just kind of sticks up, and it'll just sit there and just move back and forth right off the bottom. So I don't even really have to move it, and it'll just sit there and swing back and forth. And then I can just hop it, and then just let it swing back and forth, and just let it sit and soak. So it's going to be one of those techniques to where I'm going to have to anchor off. And I think by not trying to junk fish, I'll actually anchor off a little bit more. And I think I'll be more successful at actually catching fish by like understanding where the bass are going to be whenever, this sort of time of year, to where the water's not necessarily warm, because I really doubt it's over like 55. I don't think it's going to be in the 60s. It's probably going to be in the 50s. It's probably going to be up over 50. I would bank on it being over 50. Because I think a couple weeks ago it was like at 47. So we've had a couple warm days. It has rained, so that may have kind of pushed it back a little bit more. But, that's that's to be expected. You know, you can't expect it just to be this one track trend to where it's like, oh, it's 60 now and it's 70 then and it's 80 there and now it's 90. You know, it's going to have these ups and downs, but it's going to have a general path of which way it's going. But it's going to get cold and it's going to stop it kind of from warming up a little bit. But, you know, sometimes it's going to get a lot of sunshine and a lot of, you know, heat and, you know, a couple warm days, and it's going to warm up those shallow waters pretty quick. You know, they'll move up into there and feed a little bit. You know, they're probably not going to go like crazy far, but they may. You know, we'll see. Right around like that 60-degree mark, I'm definitely going to be looking for them in like to be spawning, which that's going to be fun. I haven't actually caught a fish. Well, I've caught one fish off of a bed, and I suspected it was off on a bed, but I couldn't see it because the water was dirty. The only reason why is because each time I threw into this little like crease, because it was like there was two boulders, and they just like made like a little L like this, and it wasn't big. That little like spot was like maybe like a foot, like each direction where that crease was. And that was it. And there must have been something in there, but there was a bass that was on a bed in there because it kept picking up my lure and then dropping it off. Like I kept setting the hook and I kept missing it. But what I had was a shaky head that just had like, you know, a pretty long tail. And I think it was one of those, oh man. It was a Z-Man with the, I think it has like the speed tail or something like that. I can't remember the name of that one. But I realized that all it was doing was just picking it up and dropping it off. So instead of just, you know, keep doing the same thing over and over, what I did is I chopped it in half and then threw it in there. And when it picked it up, I set the hook and I caught it. I caught a little like 1.5-pound bass. I mean, he was probably like, you know, like I said, about 1.5 pounds. But that was probably the only fish that I actually caught off of a bed. I really think that's the only fish that I have ever actually caught off of a bed. Now, that being said, I'm hoping that now I can intentionally catch a fish off of a bed, because that was more like an accident, because I didn't even know. I just saw a crevice and I was like, I'm gonna pitch up in there and then work it out and see what happens. And I pitched it in there and started working out, and sure enough, you know, it just pop. You can just feel him pick it up, and I set the hook. He's kind of there and he's gone because he just had it in his mouth. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll need to be taking some lizards. That's gonna be cool. I'm gonna take some lizards and throw them in there and just swim them out. Try that little technique. Heard that one from the Fluke Master. He was talking about it. And it makes sense, especially in like rivers and creeks and stuff like that. I mean, why wouldn't there be lizards just swimming all about? I see lizards when I was bank fishing, I'd see lizards all the time. They're everywhere. Of course they're going to be in the water. Of course they're going to be a source of food. And, you kind of think about it like with rats. When you see these mice lures and you see these rat lures, and you're like, why? Why would a bass ever eat a mouse? Why? And then you kind of think about it, and oh no, bass, mice rats live everywhere. They're everywhere. That's why coyotes are kind of everywhere, is because there's mice and rabbits and ground nesting birds, and there's just, those little rodents. There's an abundance of them, and they get eaten all the time by hawks and bobcats and other things. And the slow ones get eaten by, owls and No, actually, the fast ones get eaten by owls. Owls are spooky. Owls are spooky. But because there's one time, like, me and my buddy Adam, we were outside, and he has a heavy bag set up in his backyard, and it hangs up over his tree behind his shed, which it's pretty cool. It kind of makes like a little enclosed area next to the fence, kind of like just like an outdoor gym sort of thing. And it's nice, the bag gets a lot of movement. So we're usually out there for, an hour or so. And it was summer, and it was getting late. So, and it was starting to get dark, and we were hitting the bag, and it was Adam's turn to be hitting the bag. And so he was sitting there hitting it, and I look to my left, and I just see wings just coming at me. And I was like, holy shit. And it fucking turned away from me and went straight into like a tree and just didn't move the tree at all. And it just went whoop. And it barely, and the only sound it made was a whoop when it turned directions. Because I turned and looked and saw it coming in. It was coming in. It was coming in hot. I don't know what it was aiming at. I don't know if it was aiming at me. But I have to like flinch to put my hands up, and it turned and just landed. And the tree wasn't a very big tree. And it's not like he landed in it and it went like shh. I was expecting that thing to like make noise landing in this tree, because it was hauling ass. And for sure, 100%, zero noise. Adam saw the owl like fly into the tree. That thing was either coming at my head, or there was a rat or a mouse behind us or something. Or a rabbit. It could have been going after a rabbit, and I just screwed it all up, and I was just in the middle of it. He's probably like, don't move, bro, I got this. Or he was coming at my head. He's like, don't move, bro, I got this. They're vicious. They are vicious animals, but they're cool. Don't get me wrong. Owls are awesome, but they're efficient killing machines. They're good at it. They're really good at it. Mother Nature, sometimes she brings her A game to the table, and that's one of them. It's pretty cool. But, yeah. So, I think having the drop shot and trying out the drop shot, because it's also one of those techniques to where it's a little bit slower technique, and I'm not necessarily the best at slower techniques. I think I move a little bit too fast. And also, we were just in wintertime, so it was just nothing but slow moving baits. Just almost painfully slow moving baits. And it was hard, and it was actually really challenging, because you had to understand what slow meant, and slow means really slow. I mean, you're talking, sometimes you're taking 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds to, in between times to where you're moving the bait, especially depending on the type of bait it is. There was times to where I was, especially when it started getting colder, I was slow rolling an underspin swim bait, and I thought I was going slow enough, and I wasn't getting bit. So I slowed down half that speed, and it was just crawling this thing. Like, there was no way that blade was spinning at all. That blade was just kind of rubbing against the bottom, and that was it. And then and all I feel is this little doop. It was a little puh. Wasn't anything at all. Like, all it was the bass just picking it up. And it's just this little tick. And maybe, it was just, it was so subtle. And it's like, that wasn't the bottom. It could have been, But I set the hook anyways, and it was bass. But it was slow. And then it got even slower than that, and that was even harder. But somewhere in the wintertime, I figured out a jerkbait bite, which I kind of think that saved the day for me. So I'm glad I figured that one out. I'm glad I actually really took the time to really perfect the technique of actually working a jerkbait, because it's more about rhythm and cadence and being able to, like, move the bait in time with what you're doing. So you kind of have to keep this sort of count going in your head, and you kind of have to keep this rhythm going. It's almost one of those things to where if you had a little bit, like if you had a MP3 player and playing some music, it might just be good. You might just do it a little bit better, but I have a hard time listening to music in the outdoors because I just like to be out there and just kind of take in what's going on around me, and I like to pay attention to things, just to know, like, what's happening. I don't necessarily need a constant source of music in order to push me to go to where the places I want to go to. I'm already kind of into this sort of, situation. I'm already happen to paddle there. I kind of want to take in what's going on around me. I don't necessarily want to block things out, even though there's some days to where it's like, oof. Like there's one day to where I was out there and there was a couple and they were just fighting the whole time. They were just fighting the whole way, and it seemed like they were going the same direction I was. I was like, man, why? And it seemed like, but it's a small lake and it's a small river, and it's just, you can't really get away too far. People are hollering it. That shit carries. So, I wish I would have had music then. That'd have been nice. I'd have loved to have music then. But most of the time but that was like one time. And that was like one time out of like the whole year that actually happened. The majority of people that, you come across on the water and fishing, and usually they're not that strange, most of the time. There are the occasional, like, especially if you're fishing in like a really heavily trafficy sort of area, sometimes you'll come across those like kind of weirder dudes like, okay, what are you doing? What's going on? You don't necessarily seem like you're doing what you say you're doing, but if you're fishing in more of an urban environment, you have more of a chance to come across those sorts of people. So, you kind of take the good with the bad and just kind of handle it situation by situation, and, just keep it cool. Keep it cool and use common sense. That's the best thing you could do, Just don't overreact, don't overreact, and use just common sense. That's the way to do it. That's the way to be, So, I think tomorrow is going to be a successful day. I'm ready to get back out there and get back at it because I took today off and just played No Man's Sky all day. But, sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you just got to play a video game, do something different, But I'm also getting back at it. But I'm going to tell you, can't wait. Can't wait to play around with this guy. Got some 20-pound braid. Got some 12-pound fluorocarbon on it. It's going to be nice. I've been really, I've actually switched out most of my stuff from mono to fluorocarbon. And I got to say, I'm really happy that I kind of made the change to that. I think moving into the summertime and these fish kind of pushing into like shallow areas, and also with the grass going to be growing up, I'm probably going to switch that from 12 to maybe like 15 or 20 or something like that. I might just go with the 20 because we've got lily pads, and I don't know. I think I'd be more comfortable with like a 20-pound fluorocarbon than a 15. Also, there's some bigger bass in there. There could be, there's the potential to hook into a 4 to 6 to 7 pound bass. I mean, it's possible in there. I've caught them fairly big. I've caught a 5-pound bass out of there. So, if you catch it 5, 2 more pounds isn't that much. I mean, you got to think that that's just 2 more pounds. That's just a couple more years. And I think bass live up to like 13, 14 years, maybe 15, something like that. I don't know how many years. I think they live somewhere between like 10 and 15 years, somewhere in there. So, and if they if they get food on a regular basis, they could get up, if a bass lived for, yeah, I think they could. In this lake, yeah. But, you get it hung up into the lilies, good luck. I know for sure I'll be switching over to 65-pound braid on to my frog rod. And that's why I can't wait to get the other reel in, because I want to try that dude out onto the frog rod. Because if that one's made out of the same stuff that this reel's made out of, I'm going to be a very, very happy man. Because that's one of the reasons why I like this SLX. It's a Shimano SLX. And I got to say, this has became my new favorite bait casting reel out of all the ones that I've actually owned. I mean, this is probably the more higher priced one that I've actually owned. I mean, it is a $100 reel, but it has that same composite sort of body, and it's still it's nice and solid. And I've hooked into some. I think I've caught a 5-pound bass off of this. The most recent bass, the most recent bass that I've caught that was 5 pounds was off of a jerk bait. It was actually off of a Rapala, sort of minnow, like a ghost minnow jerk bait. But I gotta say, I'm fairly impressed with those reels. They did a very quality job so far. I mean, I haven't got to actually catch a bass and actually hook into it, and also I haven't actually gotten to the using it for a long period of time, because that's another test of the reel. Because out the gate, it's great, and you know what, they did a very good job, and it looks great, it feels great, smooth, the drag's smooth, it feels easy to use, the parts feel quality, it doesn't feel like it's going to break under pressure. I was kind of torquing on it a little bit when it came out the package, just to kind of see, how it feels, how it kind of like, because if it's gonna break, just by me kind of like trying to bend it a little bit and just kind of like, messing with it a little bit just to kind of see if there's like any sort of like weaker spots into it. Because if you hook into a big bass, it's gonna have torque kind of put onto it. Sure, there's gonna be the drag that's gonna be set on there, but I want my reels to be quality. I want this thing not to break. And if it feels like it's gonna break, out of the box, then of course it's not a quality reel. And this reel felt very solid when it came out of the box, and I was very impressed by that. And so right now it's all thumbs up. They do have their free shipping it's free, but you are going to be waiting probably about 2 weeks to a month, depending on. So when you order these, don't order them in a rush. I think you can pay for them. I think you can pay them to put on, have them shipped in a week. But if you want to do the free shipping, it's going to take a couple weeks to a month. But it's supposed to be more green and more economical, and it's supposed to be, a little bit better way of shipping. Well, not necessarily. It's supposed to be a more green way of shipping. I think that's what they were saying. It's supposed to be a more eco-friendly. So, and as bass fishermen, I can't really say that I'm against eco-friendly stuff, because I enjoy the outdoors, and I would hate to see a lot of our stuff, go away. A lot of our, fisheries and, these wetlands and these, a lot of these places, So, I think that that's not a bad way to go, and if it takes a little bit longer because it's better for the environment, then, it's not bad. Why not? Why not? Why am I so, I shouldn't get so upset because something took 2 weeks to get here. You got to think about it. You go back 50 years. You go back 50 years ago, it took 2 weeks to get a letter. You sent a letter. You sent a letter to somebody that you knew in California. It wasn't going to get there in just a week. It was going to get there in a couple weeks. You send anybody a letter anywhere, it was going to take a week or so. It was going to take a couple weeks. It was going to take some time. It took. It's so weird. Because, oh well. It's a funny observation that, I'm not going to be I don't think, you shouldn't be upset just because something takes a couple weeks or a month to get to you. Especially if you're not having to pay for it. If it's free shipping and that's the case, then, okay, so instead of paying money for it, you're just paying for it in time. So, you just have to be patient. It is fishing. Fishing's all about patience. You can't have patience with your shipping. But that's the way I thought about it. It's what? I shouldn't be upset. I should be patient. Shipping. I'm not having to pay for it. It's supposed to be better for the planet. It's if I got to pay for it with my time, that's fine. I'll pay for it with my time. But yeah, I'm really liking these reels. And you can pick one up at kudafishing.co. I'm excited. I'm excited, and I'm ready to go because It's been so much fun not going fishing. You know, it's going to be nice to get back out there. Do some stuff. It's going to be fun. But, yeah. So, that all being said, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to just put a smack down on him. I'm just going to lay the hammer. I'm going to be setting hooks. It's going to be so much fun. But if you guys want to pick up one of those reels, you can go ahead and pick them up. They're actually they're fairly decently priced too. Like, you're not paying over $100 for a reel. And because the Shanghai Storm, I think that one was like $99. So if you guys want to pick up a reel, you can go ahead and just pick up one of those ones. Just understand that it's just going to take a little bit of time. Just be patient for your reels to come in, especially with all the stuff happening now. If there was ever a time for people to have patience, it's now. Now's the best time to have patience. If there's one thing that everybody, including myself, I'm not exempt from this, is just to have some more patience. But I think these reels look pretty nice. They feel pretty nice. So the one I got was $99. The spinning reel, the Renoya. It's Oya. I gotta tell you, I took Japanese in high school, and I failed that miserably. So sometimes when I get some of these more Japanese style of more Japanese words, could be Chinese or I don't know where are you guys from? I don't know. But it's nice. It's a good reel. They did a good job. It seems like a smaller company. And the one I bought, the Baitcaster, the Shanghai Storm, has cork handles. I like a little bit of cork. But we'll see. I was looking at it and I liked how the I like the length of the handle. I like how it seems like the handle's a little bit oversized as far as like the size of it's not closer together. Seems like it has a little bit more torque power to it. And of course, I got left-handed. Not because I'm left-handed. I got it left-handed because of the fact that I cast right-handed and I don't want to switch hands. So all my stuff's left-handed because I don't want to switch hands when I cast. Because when you flip, you want it to go in and be able to control it and then like turn it. So if you did that, you would have to switch hands as soon as you did that, and then you'd be cast. And then, I'm just not good with my left hand in order to cast. So I just kind of figure if I'm going to be casting, I'm going to have it left-handed. And if I'm going to have to cast left-handed, then, well, I'm just going to have to do the switch. But the majority of the time, I'm going to be casting right-handed. So, and it's easier for me to learn how to, in order to learn how to actually just reel on this side and just be able to work the bait with this hand, because I have a better I have an easier time to work the bait with my right hand. So it's just, when I made the switch from right-handed reels to left-handed reels for bait casters, and now, see, here's the thing, this is another thing you have to understand, is with spinning reels, you would have to, I mean, there are some that are interchangeable to where you can change them one side to the other. And I think most of them are interchangeable, but some of them aren't, and you have to buy them right or left-handed. And if you buy one that is right-handed, you're holding the rod in your right hand and not reeling with your right hand. So it's kind of a complicated thing, and that's kind of weird to me. But I can't wait until that one comes in, because I can't wait to replace the reel on that reel, because that reel's old, and it was one of those Bass Pro Outlet reels, and it's served its purpose, and it's done its time, and it's not doing so hot right now. I'm gonna tell you, it has its moments, and it's time for him to go. You know, it's time. It's time to be replaced. But you know, that's also kind of what you get when you pay for one of those outlet reel. You kind of roll the dice. Sometimes you get a good one and it lasts for a while. And that one's lasts for a couple years. I've had that one for I think I've had that one for 3 years now. Yeah, that was one of my first bait casting reels that I actually bought for bass fishing. So I've had that one for like 3-4 years now. But so it's time to change that one out. And I mean, I've taken it apart and I've tried to clean it and I've tried to like get it back together and working again. And it's just, you know, it's what happens is sometimes when you pop the rod, if you're not holding on to the handle, it'll just start spinning backwards and cause a really bad backlash. Like one of those backlashes to where you're not getting that dude out. You're going to cut that out. You know, it's one of those to where if you thought you were going to be flipping for the rest of the day, you think again, because you're not going to be flipping it anymore. You're going to be, not unless you brought line with you. If you brought line with you and scissors, then good luck, go for it. But no, it's time to be replaced, and I can't wait to replace it. You know, I can't wait. I just can't wait. I'm excited. I hope you guys can tell. But, you know, I hope you guys are getting out there too. I hope you guys are being safe out there. You know, just best thing to do, just be patient and use common sense. You know, and that's what I'm going to do. I got to take my own advice too. I got to be patient and use common sense. I need it too. I need more common sense. If you guys could see, that's what I need. I need to get paid in common sense. No, that'd be bad. But if you guys want to pick one of these reels up, go ahead and just pick up one. You know, go ahead and just do that if you want to. At the end, when you're checking out, if you use the promo code TWP15, you can get 15% off your order. That is, why not? I mean, why not get a little bit more of a discount off your guys' stuff? So, you know, just pick one up and do that. I mean, yeah, if you're in the market for a reel, but why not? Why not go ahead and buy one? You're sitting there looking at reels anyways, probably. That's what I was doing. I've been really trying hard not to buy things. But that's why I've been playing lots of video games. Because it just kind of keeps me offline. And I'm not paying attention to things. And, you know, it's one of the things I do. But you guys be safe. You know, just, but, you know, try to get out there and have fun if you can. You know, try to get out there and do some fishing. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow, and I'm going to have fun. And I'll see you guys out there. Peace.